Hi, it's Katrina. Some crazy stuff has been discovered thanks to Google Earth and satellite imagery. From something ordinary, people with really good eyes have found some hidden secrets and things that are just strange. Ever wondered what lies beyond those secretive military bases? Well, satellites have managed to give us a glimpse into these highly classified areas. But that's not all. What about the pyramid-like formations that have left experts scratching their heads? Were they built by ancient civilizations, or are they simply natural wonders shaped by time? So get ready to explore from the comfort of your own home, and get ready with your tablet or your phone or your laptop, because I'm sure you'll want to search for your own mysteries and maybe even solve a cold case after this video. Military base in the desert. While scrolling through Google Maps exploring the vast sandy expanses of the Sahara Desert, an internet sleuth uncovered something unusual: a secret military base hidden in the middle of nowhere. The person who made the discovery posted their findings on Reddit, quickly attracting attention from other curious users and even news agencies. The post was captioned "Secret Base, Middle of the Sahara," and it revealed never-before-seen photos of the remote facility near the Libyan border. The images showed a landing strip, several buildings, vehicles, and a perimeter fence surrounded by miles and miles of empty desert. This mysterious outpost is known as Aerodrome Madama, and it's not just any secret base. It's a French military airfield situated in the northeast frontier of Niger. Interestingly, this location has a rich history. This site was originally built as a French colonial fort in 1931, but today it's guarded by a garrison of around 100 Nigerian soldiers. What could they be hiding? In 2014, the French government decided to set up shop here as part of Operation Barkhane, an effort to combat insurgents in the region. They built a full-fledged base, and by 2015, around 200 to 250 French soldiers were stationed there. Now, though, this place serves as a command post for military operations involving French, Nigerian, and Chadian forces. Aerodrome Madama features a 5,900-foot-long landing strip, as well as a ramp, 2 parking areas for aircraft, and helicopter pads. And I forgot to mention that the whole place is surrounded by landmines. The base is a crucial part of Operation Barkhane, which started on August 1st, 2014. This operation involves 4,000 military personnel and aims to combat terrorism and armed groups across 5 Sahel-Saharan countries: Mali, Mauritania, Chad, Niger, and Burkina Faso. There are so many things hiding in the desert, so get to Google Earth or Google Maps and take a look. You never know what you might find. Just make sure you finish watching first, because I have even more ideas for you. Alaskan Black Pyramid. Deep in the remote wilderness of Alaska lies a mystery that has captured the imagination of conspiracy theorists for decades: the Alaskan Black Pyramid. Rumored to be hidden deep within the rugged terrain, this massive structure is said to rival the size of the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. The legend gained traction in 2023. That's when former counterintelligence agent Doug Muchler, who was stationed nearby, claimed to have found the pyramid while examining some maps. His discovery brought attention to a long-standing mystery, sparking curiosity about what secrets could be hidden inside the ancient structure. In 1992, following a significant underground nuclear explosion in China, seismic activity was detected in Alaska. Local news reports surfaced suggesting the presence of a large subterranean pyramid revealed by the aftermath of the explosion. However, concrete evidence remained elusive at the time. Fast forward to 2024, and the mystery deepens with the emergence of satellite imagery on Google Maps. Observant users noticed a peculiar triangular shape coming out of the landscape near the former Nixon Fork mine. Speculation ran rampant as to whether this could be the elusive Black Pyramid. There is even a road that seems to run right up to the peak of this structure. But skeptics did what skeptics do best. They offered an alternative explanation, one that wasn't so out there. They suggested that the alleged pyramid structure may just be a remnant of the mining operation. People are talking a lot about this discovery, but we still don't know for sure what it is. If it's just a building from the Nixon Fork mine, why haven't they just said so? Right now, we are still trying to figure out if it has government secrets or if it's just some unusual rocks. Which side are you on? And now for a quick break because it's shoutout time! Woo! Big thank you to Keith Sandrian for the generous super thanks. It really means a lot. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button to join the Origins Explained family because why not? Kazakhstan Pentagram. Attention, mystery enthusiasts! This one's for you. Etched into the remote landscape of Kazakhstan is a very peculiar pentagram. This fascinating symbol is clearly visible on Google Maps near the Upper Tobol Reservoir. Spanning an impressive 1,200 feet in diameter, it's bound to spark curiosity. But why would someone make such a big pentagram in such a lonely place? This earthwork is located about 12 miles from the city of Lysakovsk. The area near Lysakovsk is filled with ancient archaeological sites. Bronze Age settlements, cemeteries, and burial grounds are scattered throughout the windswept landscape, many of which have yet to be fully explored. For many, this five-pointed star surrounded by a circle is connected to sinister themes like devil worship or secretive cults. So the theories behind the Kazakhstan pentagram are no different, especially when observers zoom in on Google Maps and see features named Adam and Lucifer in the pentagram. But in reality, the pentagram symbol itself has a broader historical significance, having been used by various cultures and religious groups throughout history, so don't be scared. Archaeologist Emma Osmanova shed some light on the mystery, but you may be a little disappointed because it's not as evil as you might think. So, what's the truth here? The Kazakhstan pentagram isn't related to the devil or demonic rituals. It's actually the outline of a park that takes the shape of a star. Emma told Live Science that during the Soviet era, the pentagram was a popular symbol. Until the Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991, the country used stars all the time to decorate buildings, monuments, and flags. According to Emma, the star-shaped park likely emerged from this cultural context. Some internet users have suggested that the site could have once been a Soviet-era campground, but whether or not that's true is unclear. Today, the park lies abandoned and overgrown. Its roads are now lined with trees, which only emphasizes the star shape that's visible from an aerial view. To put your mind at ease, the true meaning behind the pentagram isn't sinister in the slightest. The five-pointed star is actually a symbol of the goddess Kor, or you may know her by another name, Persephone. She was the daughter of Zeus and eventually became the queen of the underworld. Kor was worshipped as a nature deity. She traveled to the surface every spring, just as the winter frost began to thaw, allowing crops to bloom. The pentagram, in essence, means life. It's a positive symbol and represents the unity of all things. So you can save your holy water. The pentagram is nothing to fear. The Valley of the Dolls. In Japan, there is a village that is full of life-sized dolls. Images from Google Earth have emerged in recent years, showing off this bizarre place and revealing just how creepy it really is, unless you really love dolls. Listen to this and tell me in the comments if you would ever visit Nagoro Village. Nagoro Village is nestled in the Iya Valley, a remote mountainous area on the island of Shikoku. It was once home to about 300 people, but less than 30 people live there today. Most of the village's previous residents simply moved away in search of jobs. Many others just died, leaving a hole in the heart of one woman that found an unconventional way to fill it. The way you deal with death and grief varies from person to person. Some opt for a traditional burial, while others prefer to burn their loved ones and place their ashes in an urn on their mantelpiece. For Tsukimi Ayano, however, she mourns by creating life-sized dolls of her friends and relatives. It's actually kind of nice if you think about it, but it's also a little bit creepy. To deal with her ever-growing loneliness, Ayano began to fill the void by populating Nagoro Village with dolls. Each doll represents someone that she once knew. While exploring the village on Google, you'll be confronted by hundreds of these human-sized figurines. Every building is full of them. Even the old school in Nagoro is occupied by dozens of deceased students, waiting at their desks for class to begin. The bizarre idea came to Ayano as she was working alone in her garden. As she was daydreaming about the time she shared with her father before he passed, she started to collect straw and made a doll in his image. It gave her a sense of peace. So she continued to create the rest of her family in doll form, and things sort of spiraled from there. It's now more than 15 years later, and she's not done yet. There are over 350 dolls currently residing in Ngoro. In fact, these days, there are more dolls than humans in the village. Ayano places each figurine in a spot that represents that person perfectly. Some appear to be working in the fields, while others hold fishing poles by the river. Some are just sitting on benches by the roadside, waiting to greet anyone who might stumble across their forgotten village. Ngoro was featured in a documentary called The Valley of the Dolls, appropriate name. Ayano was interviewed, and she revealed that she has even made a doll of herself. According to her, it's taking a nap now. It makes you wonder if it's just waiting for Ayano herself to leave the village before finally opening its eyes. The Trementina Base Circles. The Church of Scientology has been the subject of controversy and scrutiny since its inception in 1954. Members of this New Age religion believe that people are immortal alien beings who are trapped on Earth in their fleshy human bodies. They believe in reincarnation, and that every person has lived numerous times before, both on Earth and on other planets. Scientologists go through a series of teachings and classes called auditing to help free themselves from their human form and reclaim their true selves. Whatever that means. I mean, I'm no expert on this topic. For a lot of people, this church is strange, to say the least. And that could be why, in 2013, the media went bonkers over an alleged alien space cathedral that was built by the church in a remote part of the New Mexico desert. News outlets were circulating a story about a mysterious building that leads to an underground vault. The vault sits beside two massive symbols that are carved into the ground, and these symbols supposedly have a purpose for the church that you would never guess in a million years. They act as markers for followers of the religion to help them find their way back from the farthest reaches of the cosmos, after humanity is wiped out in the future. Google Earth has captured images of these symbols right next to a Scientology complex in New Mexico. Surrounded by trees and shrubs is a 3-story house chiseled into the mountainside, and just up the road are the strange symbols. 2 giant interlocking circles with diamonds in the middle of each one. To the public, the house and the surrounding buildings are known as the Trementina Base. The house was supposedly built against a stone outcrop in order to hide the entrance to the secret underground vault. But Google Earth users are just too good. Nearby, there is a mile-long landing strip, several RV trailers, and water storage units. The whole complex, including temporary structures, stretches across roughly 60 acres. It's located some 20 miles to the west of Las Vegas, New Mexico. Not the Las Vegas that you know with all the casinos. A smaller and different Las Vegas in New Mexico. Over the years, only one person outside the church has been permitted to visit the site, which is pretty suspicious. Ex-police chief of the Las Vegas Sheriff's Department, Tim Galagos, was given a tour of this alleged vault in the late 1990s by church officials. When interviewed about his experience, Galagos said that the vault contains several machines for copying the works of L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. Galagos told the news that the vault is basically a massive time capsule that holds all the scriptures of the church along with Hubbard's texts. The ex-police chief also toured the complex's welcome center and living quarters, which he described as being free of technology. Not a single phone, TV, or computer was on site. Talk about isolation. Galagos said that he didn't see anything particularly strange, although his trip was planned ahead of time, so if there was anything nefarious going on, it was hidden from him. Rumors about the supposed space alien cathedral started in the 1980s, when an ex-Scientologist spilled the secrets about the church to BBC journalist John Sweeney. According to the whistleblower, the cathedral cost millions of dollars to build. The bizarre symbols near the Scientology complex are known as the Trementina Base circles today. You can see them for yourself on Google Earth, as well as the house that supposedly hides the secret vault. The face from space. With the rise of digital mapping tech like Google Earth, advertising has taken to the skies. Ever heard of roof-vertising? It's just what it sounds like. Giant billboards painted right onto rooftops. What used to be limited to airport areas is now a cash cow, as companies realize they can splash their logos across digital maps for free. But hold on to your bucket of chicken. Back in 2006, KFC took things to a whole new level with space-vertising in Rachel, Nevada. Yep, they launched the first ad visible from space. There's some trivia you probably weren't expecting. Did you already know about this? In 2006, KFC rolled out a fresh new look for their brand, spreading across a whopping 14,000 restaurants in 80 countries. They kept Colonel Sanders as the face of the fried chicken empire, but they gave him a modern twist. The company gave him a new sleek design, making him more trim. They also fluffed up his hair a bit. They traded in the traditional white suit for a trendy red apron, giving off more foodie vibes than plantation owner vibes. It was Colonel Sanders 2.0, and he was ready to take on the world, one crispy chicken leg at a time. As part of the relaunch, KFC made sure even aliens knew that their chicken was out of this world. A team of nearly 50 designers, scientists, and craftspeople had spent 3 months putting Sanders' face onto the desert of Rachel, Nevada, a tiny town near Area 51. Back when the nearby tungsten mine closed in 1988, Rachel had to get creative to survive. So they leaned into the UFO theme. The city is located on Nevada State Route 375, aka the Extraterrestrial Highway, where sightings of flying saucers are frequently reported. Even the local watering hole got in on the fun, appropriately named the Little Ale Inn. Get it? The colossal Colonel Sanders image had been pieced together like a giant jigsaw puzzle from 65,000 tiles. Each tile was meticulously painted in red, black, white, or beige. Once completed, the face from space spanned an impressive 87,500 square feet, making it even larger than London's St. Paul Cathedral. The face of the Colonel was so massive that it could easily fit all 4 of the iconic figures carved into Mount Rushmore. In fact, it stood as the largest logo ever created in the history of advertising. 6 months later, the giant ad bid farewell. Its legacy lived on in online mapping images for years. But before the Colonel said his final goodbye, he left a surprise for his fans. Hidden within the black tiles of his necktie was a secret message. Finger licking good. And guess what? 10,000 lucky winners were each rewarded with a $1 KFC coupon for spotting it. So, what do you think of this crazy marketing idea? Let me know in the comments. Mount Lico. In 2018, there was a place hidden in Mozambique that was explored for the first time. Dr. Julian Bayliss proved that even in the age of smartphones and super-fast internet, there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered. Julian used Google Earth and stumbled upon a pristine rainforest in a crater at the top of a mountain peak in Zambezia province. Julian first saw Mount Lico in 2012 while scanning satellite imagery of the surrounding area. What stood out to him immediately was a basin of dense green forest in the middle of a volcanic-like structure, reaching high into the clouds. The land in the vicinity of the mountain was disturbed and cultivated, but the forest seemed untouched and pristine. This site was incredibly unique. Julian assembled an international team of climbers and scientists who worked with Mozambican authorities to organize an expedition to Mount Lico in May of 2018. He actually was able to go there in person. They made a camp at the base of the mountain and set up other satellite camps in the forest basin closer to the crater's edge. The forest is situated nearly 2,300 feet above the surrounding landscape. No wonder this place isn't a popular tourist destination. Plus, it would probably get ruined anyway. For 2 weeks, Julian and the scientists traveled up and down Mount Lico between the camps they had established, investigating its flora and fauna along the way. The team discovered a new species of butterfly, as well as several other plants that only seem to be found on the mountain. So, if you have dreams of finding places on the planet that have never been discovered, this should give you some hope. The Earth is pretty big, and there could be an untold number of spots that humans have yet to explore. Swastika Island. Using Google Maps, internet sleuths uncovered a black hole in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. At least that's what it looks like when viewed from satellite images. The mysterious site was first brought to light by Reddit users in 2021. But what exactly is it? A black hole couldn't possibly exist here on Earth, right? No, there is not a black hole in the middle of the ocean. Sorry to disappoint. What this image actually shows is an island, or an atoll. But if this place is simply an island, why does it seem to be blacked out on the map? That's the question thousands of internet users were asking themselves when the image began to circulate online. People guessed that it was the location of a top-secret military base, and others gave even more absurd answers, like the atoll was the supernatural and fictional island from the show Lost. Not surprisingly, though, none of these answers are true. In case you didn't know, Google Maps blacks out areas on the globe that it doesn't have access to. But it also hides locations that need to be kept private for whatever reason. But neither of these scenarios pertain to this spot in the Pacific Ocean. What looks like a black hole is actually an atoll called Vostok Island. It encompasses an area of 56 acres, and it's owned by the Republic of Kiribati, which is about 400 miles northwest of Tahiti. According to National Geographic, Vostok Island is one of the 5 atolls that make up the Southern Line Islands in the Pacific. These islands are extremely remote and are rarely, if ever, visited by humans. So, if there is no big secret about this place, why is it blacked out on the map? Well, it isn't. Vostok Island is covered in a lush forest of Pisonia trees, which can grow nearly 100 feet tall. The trees seem to have grown so close together that when viewed from above, nothing can be seen except for the dark green treetops. And from even further away, like from a satellite view, things appear even darker, as if there is a shadow on top of the entire island. So, there you have it. There is nothing mysterious happening on Vostok Island, unless that's what they want you to think. The giant pink bunny. When you explore Google Earth, you never know what you're going to find. You might catch nature's breathtaking sculptures, or people caught in hilariously awkward moments. But every so often, Google treats you to something utterly bizarre. Imagine that you're cruising over the hills of northern Italy when, bam! You spot a colossal and slightly eerie pink bunny sprawled on a mountainside. That's exactly what happened to hundreds of internet sleuths as they were scrolling through satellite images in 2018. Now, just from hearing that, you may not fully grasp exactly how big this thing is. So let me just show you. The bunny is twice as big as the house behind it in that image. It's 200 feet long and stretches 20 feet high. But how in the world is it so big? And what is it made of? Well, it's actually an art installation that was knitted by a Viennese art collective known as Gelatin. So the bunny, which was appropriately named Pinky, is made of yarn and was designed so large in order to attract tourists. From an aerial view, Pinky looks a little creepy. Its mouth is wide open, its body is contorted on the mountainside with one of its legs bent at an unnatural angle. It's located 5,000 feet high on the top of Coleto Fava Mountain in Piedmont, Italy. No plan was ever made to remove it. Pinky was made with materials that would allow it to decompose naturally, and it's slated to remain right where it is until it decays by 2025. So if you want to see it, you've got one more year. According to Gelatin, people who visit Pinky feel as though they've been transported to the world from Gulliver's Travels, in which the fictional character Gulliver arrived in a land full of tiny people. The fact that the bunny has been spotted by Google, which means that it's also visible from space, proves just how enormous and attention-grabbing it really is. The group who created the bunny wanted hikers to experience more joy when they added Pinky to the mountainside in 2005, and I definitely think they accomplished their goal. One member of the group, Wolfgang Gantner, told The Telegraph, "You walk around it and you can't help but smile." If you want to take a look at this thing for yourself and see where it's at in its decomposition, check out these coordinates here on the screen and take a screenshot. Secret Nazi bunker. Google Maps users claim that they have stumbled upon what looks like a hidden Nazi bunker, right smack dab in the icy wilderness of Antarctica. But before we dive into this frosty mystery, let's rewind a bit. It all started when an eagle-eyed Facebook user spotted what seemed to be a mysterious door lurking in the snowy landscape on July 30th, 2023. This shadowy, square-shaped mark led some to speculate whether it leads to a secret US government base or, you guessed it, a Nazi hideout. But where did this wild theory come from? Well, it turns out there's a smidge of truth behind these claims. In 1938, Hitler himself sent a German expedition to Antarctica, supposedly on the hunt for whale oil. But since 1947, conspiracy theorists have suggested that the Nazis might have built a full-blown military base under the ice during their visit. Now, the idea of Hitler and his cronies setting up shop in Antarctica might sound like a plot twist from a sci-fi flick, but some people took it seriously. Sightings of German U-boats in Argentina post-1945 fueled rumors of Hitler's escape. So, is there really a Nazi bunker on the frigid continent? The answer is no. French scientists have debunked these theories, proving that Hitler truly did meet his demise in 1945. They examined fragments of Hitler's skull that had been preserved, as well as some teeth, and then compared them to wartime autopsy records. By doing this, they conclusively proved that the German dictator did not escape and spend the rest of his days in a secret base in Antarctica. But if the icy door doesn't lead to Hitler's secret lair, what's behind it? Some have suggested it could be home to mythical creatures like snowmen or giants. Others drew comparisons to a mysterious Martian door that was snapped by NASA rovers, reminding us that sometimes rocks look like doors too. Marine expert Colin Summerhays cast his own doubts on the existence of a secret Nazi base in Antarctica. He suggests that rumors of such a base stem from the Nazis' wartime experiments, which included ventures into archaeology and experimental aircraft projects. These whispers persisted after the war, fueled by speculation that the Nazis continued developing advanced technology, including alleged flying saucers. Some even believe that these technologies found refuge in remote and inaccessible regions like the Arctic, South America, and Antarctica following Germany's surrender in 1945. With reports of unidentified flying objects surging worldwide, some speculate that the alleged doorway in the ice may harbor secrets far more otherworldly than previously thought. Could it be that the barren ice of Antarctica conceals not the remnants of wartime experiments, but a gateway to other realms? Of course, we don't know that, but maybe someone watching this right now can actually go there and check it out. And if you do, be sure to tell us what you find. Crimes solved by Google Earth. A missing man's remains were, missing for 22 years until someone zoomed in on the man's former neighborhood in Florida using Google satellite images. That's right, Google Earth helped solve a cold case. And surprisingly, this is not the first time this has happened. The internet detective who solved the case of William Molt's disappearance noticed something submerged in a pond in Google Images in 2019. They weren't sure what it was, but they felt a strong urge to report what they had found to the police. And sure enough, when officers went to investigate the submerged object, they found Molt's vehicle, as well as his skeletal remains. Molt had vanished on November 8, 1997, when he was 40 years old. Terry Barbera, the spokesperson for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, informed news outlets of the discovery. She said that a former resident of the Grand Isles neighborhood in Wellington stumbled upon the surprising find while checking in on their old neighborhood using Google Earth. Upon zooming in, they thought they saw a submerged car in the pond, and their suspicions were confirmed by police. Molt had gone missing after spending time at a nightclub. When he left around midnight in November of 1997, he didn't appear to be intoxicated, as he wasn't even a frequent drinker. He had even called his girlfriend from the club and told her that he would be home soon. But unfortunately, Molt lost control of his vehicle and crashed into the body of water. It was a miracle that the case was solved after so long, but it's a little sad when you consider that the car had been visible on satellite images since 2007. Another crime was caught by Google Maps in 2010 in Brooklyn, New York. 3 heroin dealers were caught selling dope when a Google Street View car just happened to drive by at the right time, or the wrong time. One of the images caught by the vehicle's cameras even shows one of the men seemingly yelling at the Google car as it drove by them. Afterwards, the dealers were arrested, along with 4 other accomplices in an undercover NYPD sting operation. While some people are praising Google Earth for its ability to solve crimes, others are irritated because apparently even victimless crimes are being ousted by the program. In Athens, Greece, satellite images uncovered a bunch of swimming pools. Swimming pools? But how does having a pool break any law? Well, in Athens, you need to get a special permit in order to build a pool on your property. But more than 16,500 homeowners were found to have undeclared swimming pools in their backyards. The tax dodgers were subsequently hunted down and charged as the Greek government cracked down on fraud. With how things are currently going, there may be entire detective agencies who specialize in Google Earth investigations in the future. Honestly, it might lower crime rates across the world, as everyone would know that they could be caught on camera doing anything at any time. Although that's kind of the case already. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite discovery made by Google Earth? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have more time, be sure to stick around for an older video you might have missed.
China's Area 51. A bizarre circle was just found on Google Maps in northern China. The circle kind of looks like a landing strip, and theories range everywhere from the peculiar formation being a military base to an alien landing pad. What we do know is that the mysterious possible airbase is somewhere near the Mongolian border. People on the internet are calling this thing China's Area 51 for its resemblance, at least in nature, to Area 51 in the US. It's a bit tricky to see what's really going on from the blurry images on Google Earth, but there are a few things that stand out immediately. First, there appear to be at least 3 highly advanced fighter jets in the center of the circle. Second, there does not appear to be a single road leading to the area. There are no obvious highways, but there also don't seem to be any dirt tracks that military personnel would need to set up the site. This suggests everything has been brought here by some other, more mysterious means. There also appear to be control towers, with the whole structure set up like a modern Stonehenge. It's really impossible to say what we're looking at, but it definitely looks to be military. And considering it's basically in the middle of nowhere, at the edge of the Gobi Desert, it's most certainly supposed to be a secret. Weird stash of bikes. Imagine hoarding so many bicycles that your stash of bikes shows up on Google Earth and makes headlines. That's exactly what happened to one homeowner in March of 2022. Curious users on Google Earth were inspecting the small town of Oxford in England when they came across a literal mountain of bicycles. Judging by the images, there appear to be hundreds, if not at least thousands of random bikes all piled up in this person's yard. And believe it or not, it turned into a criminal investigation. This isn't a small yard we're talking about. The house is quite large, with tall fences to block the neighbor's view of the property. From the very back of the fence to the rear of the house, all along the sides and even pushing against the side gate leading to the street, there are bicycles. When the images went viral and the police department in Oxford realized it was in their own neighborhood, they went to investigate. As you may have guessed, the bicycles were suspected to be stolen. The police had to sort through an unbelievable number of bikes to try and figure out which were hijacked and from where. As for the man who lived at the house, he was identified as a 54-year-old thief and was arrested on suspicion of handling stolen goods and possession of criminal property. It really makes you wonder why he continued to steal the bikes when clearly he wasn't selling them. It was like he was stockpiling them for some apocalyptic bicycle emergency. Field of Scarecrows. In Finland, in a field in the middle of nowhere, there's a small army of scarecrows. Thanks to Google Maps, this strange army, almost looking like a zombie invasion, was revealed to the world. After it was posted online, there was a lot of speculation over what in the world is going on here. The field is one big flat patch of brown, dead grass surrounded on all sides by a wall of trees. And in the middle of the field, there appear to be hundreds upon hundreds of scarecrows, not protecting any crops, just loitering there like discarded Halloween decorations. After the story got some traction, the truth behind the mystery made itself clear. This wasn't just some deranged farmer's field. It's actually an art installation. It's called The Silent People. made up of roughly 1,000 scarecrows by local artist Reijo Kela. They've been in that field since 1994, but nobody outside the region really knew about them until they were spotted on Google Maps and went viral in 2017. And while they may look a little creepy, that's only at dusk and at night. The truth is that by day, there's actually nothing that creepy about these scarecrows. Each one is just a colorful shirt stuck to a long post in the ground with a shabby wig of straw hair. Crashed UFO. A user on Google Earth has spotted what appears to be a crashed UFO in Antarctica. That's a big pill to swallow, so let's break it down. This discovery was made by Scott C. Waring, and it is not the first time Waring has made claims about the existence of extraterrestrials. The alleged UFO has not been confirmed by any reliable source. Instead, all we have are pictures on Google Earth of what appears to be a large disk trapped inside a clearing of Antarctic ice. Oddly enough, that clearing is shaped like a heart. What it looks like, without going too off the rails, is that the UFO, whatever the object is, crashed into Antarctica, broke the ice, and caused the opening we now see from satellite images. It's extremely difficult to get a proper measurement of the object. It seems to be roughly 131 feet across, about as large as you would imagine a flying saucer to be. However, one of the biggest issues is that this newest discovery, like so many other supposed UFO crashes, is that they are always in Antarctica. It's like the only place you have UFOs show up is the one place on Earth nobody can go look for them. According to Scott, it's very likely that it's going to be gone soon. He says that if the unidentified flying object disappears from Google Earth, it's because a team of government scientists have already gone and recovered it and brought it back to their secret lab. Big shout out to Janana Banks and Darren Moody. Thanks so much for watching and supporting Origins Explained. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join the Origins Explained family. The Murder House. If you go into Google Maps right now and zoom in on Cleveland, Ohio, there is something very disturbing. It's hiding in the Tremont neighborhood at 2208 Seymour Avenue. You'll notice that as you move down the street, all the houses look perfectly ordinary. But then you get to 2208, and for a seemingly inexplicable reason, the house is blurred. You can see everything else except for this house, which is censored. While this at first may seem like some kind of bizarre conspiracy, it's actually even worse. This house once belonged to serial killer Ariel Castro. Castro kidnapped Amanda Berry, Gina De Jesus, and Michelle Knight. He kept all three women captive inside his house for nearly 10 years. They were trapped up until May 6, 2013, which was when one of them finally managed to escape and tell the police what was happening. Castro ended up getting life in prison, plus 1,000 years without the possibility of parole. Later in 2013, the house had become such a stain on the neighborhood that it was demolished. But Google Maps is still blurring out the empty plot of land. SOS. In the middle of the remote desert of Jordan, just north of Saudi Arabia, a very disturbing image was discovered on Google Earth. The image is that of a distress signal, a giant message which reads SOS Stranded. It appears as though someone had gotten lost in the desert, then made up their own distress signal as a clever attempt to be rescued by someone who would see it. The only issue here is that the SOS signal is clearly only visible from the sky. The only way someone would have seen it would be if they had flown over this remote part of the desert, or had been scrolling through Google Earth years after the message was left. This isn't a small message either. It's enormous. The word stranded appears to be about 150 feet long. The SOS above it is about 50 feet long. And to make matters even stranger, about 500 feet away is the word no, also written in the desert sand. Unfortunately, we have no idea who could have left these messages. We don't know if someone was actually stranded or if it was just a prank by some remote sheep herders. There aren't any roads around, just rough tracks that have probably been there for centuries. One theory that does kind of make sense is that the letters were left by military personnel who got into trouble and had no way of contacting anyone. Either way, it's one of the most bizarre unsolved mysteries we've ever seen on Google Earth. The Swastika Base in California. There is a naval base in San Diego which was constructed in the 1960s. It's called Naval Base Coronado, and it's astoundingly offensive from the sky. Anyone with Google Maps can zoom in on Coronado and see the buildings which were constructed to look exactly like a swastika. From the air, it looks like Hitler designed the base. and it's in California of all places. The configuration of the building was probably not intentional. When they were building it in the 1960s, it's doubtful the architects meant to make the place into a swastika. But then again, it seems like a pretty difficult thing to miss. And when in the 2000s people suddenly had access to satellite images, it wasn't long before the building's design was uncovered and people started complaining. In 2006, the Navy agreed to change the buildings and do some renovations. They even provided a statement to the press saying that they didn't want to be associated with the hateful symbol of the swastika. Fast forward to 2016, the building is still there, and it's still very much a swastika. The Navy spent $14 million to renovate the place, which they did, but they didn't change the outside appearance. They spent all their money to freshen the interior and make it cozier, but it still looks like a giant symbol of hate from the Third Reich. It's now the biggest and most expensive government-funded swastika anywhere in the world. Creepy bridge monster. An extremely disturbing creature has been spotted on Google Earth. This time the monster was found using the Street View camera. A user was checking out a bridge in New York State when they found some kind of supernatural being hiding underneath it. The Street View is totally normal, going along a perfectly ordinary road. And then down to a trail beneath the bridge, hiding under the steel beams, is something that looks like it should be in a Stephen King book. The location of this disturbing creature's hideout is somewhere in the city of Ithaca, close to Cornell University. And while some have said that the sinister figure could just be part of a prank, it seems pretty unlikely unless someone knew exactly when the Google car was going to be coming by to make its recording. Plus, it doesn't seem like a person in a mask. It looks like it had black, hollow eyes, the face of a ghost, and a body completely covered in shadows. Apparently, it is terrifying people on TikTok. Some said the creature is actually just a piece of graffiti under the bridge, which, when caught by the Street View camera, appeared to come alive. And to be honest, hopefully that's the case. If this thing is real and there are little black-eyed specters hiding under bridges, that would be pretty disturbing. The Kraken. The great mythical beast known as the Kraken has supposedly been captured on Google Maps. Internet sleuths discovered the prehistoric monster by checking out the Atlantic Ocean on Google. In most cases, the Atlantic Ocean would yield nothing except miles and miles of empty blackness. But this time, in the absolute middle of nowhere, the Kraken appeared to poke its head out of the sea at just the right time to be caught on camera. But what's the truth? Is this really a mythical sea creature? Is it a beast capable of bringing down ships and eating hapless sailors alive? Or is it just a giant squid, a creature that can grow to be 60 feet long with tentacles like giant anacondas? The truth is significantly less interesting. The image definitely looks like the head of a giant squid, as if one of these leviathans of the deep was caught leaping out of the water for some reason. But in truth, it's just a rock. The rock even has a name, Sail Rock. It's an outcrop shaped almost exactly like a giant squid's head, located off the coast of Deception Island, an oddly fitting name for this less than revolutionary satellite discovery. Strange Antarctic structure. A very mysterious structure was spotted in Antarctica thanks to Google Earth. There was a lot of speculation surrounding this strange structure, which looked like a government facility or some kind of subterranean alien base. And just when everything had started to cool down, the unthinkable happened. This structure completely vanished from Google Earth, as if the men in black had forced Google to take it off the program. In 2015, there was a large and mysterious mound, along with what appeared to be an airstrip leading to the entrance of an unknown underground facility. This stuff was all there between 2015 and 2016. But by 2019, the structures weren't totally gone, but had been blacked out. Someone had censored these things like a secret CIA document. And if conspiracy theorists were going crazy before, this really set them off. Nobody has any idea what this place in Antarctica is, but obviously it's important enough that someone was able to black out what they didn't want the rest of the world to see. Thanks for watching. Have you ever found anything strange on Google Earth? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you later. Bye!